Let's get to it. Let's do it. Painful choice right away. No way. We are selecting 5 cards to the opponent. We revealed an Eclipse Wyvern, a Chaos Space, a White Dragon Wyvern Burster, a Black Metal Dragon, and a Bestial Serenir. Then the opponent selects one of those cards to add to Boda's hand, which was the Eclipse Wyvern to the hand. The rest go to the graveyard. Oh my Jesus. We're going to send the Eclipse Wyvern from the hands of the grave, which we tried to avoid from happening, as the Eclipse Wyvern, when sent to the graveyard, now triggers to banish a level 7 or higher light or dark dragon from your deck. But we're not done yet. It has an additional effect. If this card is banished, you could add the monster banished by this card's effect. What did we banish from the deck? We banished a Chaos Dragon Leveneer. If we could add this back to our hand here, we're going to possibly have the effect of discarding, I should say shuffle, one random card from the opponent's hand back into the deck. Let's now follow up with Lubellion. Lubellion searching for our Druiswarm, safer, link off into a Striker Dragon. Already seeing at least one banned card here. How many? I think every single deck's playing Painful Choice. How can you not? Eclipse Wyvern being banished by the Collapsed Serpent. Only now are we going to chain the Fool Loss in response to the Wyvern, activating to add back the banished Chaos Dragon Leveneer, which does not trigger the Fool Loss to draw a card as it's summoned from the hand. Now, even under the effect of Fool Loss, we're going to be continuing to summon from the extra deck, going into Heretic Seal, which will now be triggering the effect of Collapsed Serpent to search for a Wyvern Burster. Magnum Hunt is going to banish from our own grave, come forth and summon, activate to search for a dragon during the end phase. Fool Loss is not drawing for summons from the grave or from the hand, and we have plenty more of those summons to go through. As we now activate our Chaos Space, let's draw a card. Let's banish 3 cards just like that. Triple Dark. We're now going to be activating the effect of shuffle 1 random card from the opponent's hand back in the deck. We are choosing our chain link order here. Leveneer, get returning, back to the deck you go. What is Rain playing? We have no idea. I can't check out their extra deck until we're able to go into the replays. All right. I forgot to ping EU Dual Room. Sorry for the EU people. It's not popping up. There we go. All right. Good. Perfect. What are we playing against? It is Tearlament. Tearlament is here. Sharon is going to discard the Lunalight Tiger to summon and mill 3. We're going to be triggering the Brand of Regained. Now, if everyone is suspecting Tearlament to be the best deck, then all you have to do is play Bestials to counter them, right? I don't think that Tyr can possibly be the best deck if everyone's on Bestial. We're going to Super Poly discard the Serenade Dance, fuse with the field. Let's fuse away the Masquerena and Magnum Hunt into come forth and summon our Mood Dragon. Now, Mood Dragon and Sharon can Xyz to detach the Sharon by card effect to trigger a fusion summon. Now, the problem with that is the Heretic Seal. If you were to make a Time Thief Redoer to detach Sharon by card effect, all you have to do is chain the Heretic Seal to bounce it back, and thus the Sharon would not gain its effect. But we're going to be using the Heretic Seal early here. Get bouncing back. Are we bouncing the... I mean, what do we... I guess we get rid of the Mood Dragon, because otherwise the Sharon could just be normal summoned right afterward. I have no idea if they are even playing the Time Thief Redoer. Let's resolve it. Let's bounce it. Get out of here. Mood Dragon, be gone. Triggering the Heretic Seal. Come forth and summon from the deck. Baldrake, not waiting for a Tearlament fusion effect. We're going to instead banish away the Lunalight chick. Ain't no way. Boda's deck is built to beat Tearlament. How could Tyr compete with all these Bestials? And to be fair, if you're just hopping in, Boda did open up with a painful freaking choice. And the choice was not painful. Maybe it was painful for Rain. Let's regain. Is that what Painful Choice is about, right? It's the opponent's Painful Choice. Your easy choice of 5 cards. Let's return back into the deck through the effect of the Brain of Regain, drawing potentially into another Bestial. We have Perfume Engrave effect. We're going to add a Lunalight from the deck to the hand, and we just discarded the Black Sheep. Now, what are we grabbing from the deck? From the deck, we're gonna grab the Lunalight Wolf. We have not performed a normal summon yet. Once per turn, you could fusion summon a Lunalight fusion by banishing its materials from your field or graveyard. That is the pendulum effect. Yup. If a Lunalight controls attacks or defense, we don't care about that. This is a graveyard fusion play. Now, Lunalight will actually be possibly a top tier deck once we get the new support later. How's it doing wherever it's out here? Let's see, OCG, Lunalight. Look at that, top 6 deck in the OCG. Pentastag, your linked monster can attack into a defense position monster, inflicting piercing battle damage. If you can summon something that can attack more than one monster, then that's a wham bam, thank you ma'am, as we're now fusing with the graveyard. Lunalight Wolf into the Cat Dancer. Cat Dancer cannot be destroyed by battle. And also, if it declares an attack, inflict 100 to your opponent. During your main phase, contribute 1 other Lunalight for the rest of the turn. The first time each opponent would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed, and it can attack all monsters, but say goodbye as it gets banished away by the Baldrake. What is going on? Tier Limit scooping it up for the first duel of the no ban list event. Unfortunately, Bystial's hard counter Tier Limit. It's okay for you to switch your deck, change cards, whatever you want. You only have to lock in your deck in the top 4. What? You're playing Branded in the no ban list event? Are you out of your freaking mind? What did Branded gain from having no ban list? I'm looking at the extra deck. The extra deck is the same. Huh? We're gonna use Ogre to chain pop the Cartesia. Thus, we have no valid fusion with our other cards in hand. We're gonna follow up with Branded Fusion. We're gonna play Ido. We're gonna play the Puppet that summons on the opponent's side of the field. Gimmick Puppet play. Let's banish away our 2 Albazes in grave. Come forth, Lubellion. On summon, discard the Magnum Hut. Fuse with the banish pile. If current Branded is as good as all the cards being unbanned, then Konami needs to start unbanning cards. What are they doing? What the heck? Cartesia add back. Now, Zumi up here is definitely playing the banned Diablosis. You're not? What? What? This is a no banless event. What are you doing, Zumi? Where's the mind hacker? Expulsion? Oh, there's the ban. This is banned. This is banned. Expulsion is banned. We're gonna now activate Rinbrum by banishing with the Mirror Jade. Did not activate Rinbrum. We sent to the grave to banish. Didn't even have to use the expulsion. Crystron versus Tier Limit. Crystron Hulk in Crystron. And we couldn't do it. We set to Imperm plus normal summon Tristaros Pass. What the heck is going on? We're gonna come forth and summon our Unicorn. In response to the Unicorn, we're gonna chain the Tristaros to summon from the deck, performing our Synchro Summon play. Come forth into Dragster, ready to negate a spell and trap card. The problem with Dragster is against Kash tier, they could simply just attack over the Dragster. We have Droll and Lockbird in response to adding a card, plus Imperm, negating the Unicorn from looking at our extra deck. What's interesting is we allowed Unicorn to add Birth, but as soon as Unicorn says, okay, now I'm gonna look at your extra deck, that's not allowed. We're going to affect Veiler, attempt to negate the Rhino Heart here. We're gonna chain the Forbidden Droplet. Now, even if the Dragster negates the Droplet, it does not matter. The Tier Limit Rhino Heart is just dodging the effect Veiler, thus it will not be negated. Now, the better use of your Veiler or Imperm is gonna be on Kick Cow, so this works out for Bruh. Because we had Veiler and Imperm, it was okay to try to negate the Rhino Heart. But now on summon of the Kick Cow, let's negate with the Impermanence. We have a Merly in our hand with no way to get it out onto the field. The Kick Cow would have been able to send herself to the graveyard, but is now negated. Do we now go into Fiendsmith plays? Do we have room for Fiendsmith? As we're gonna now activate Kash Tier of Birth, and in response, we're gonna try to Dragster negate. Aren't we negated by Droplet Mate? Yes, we are. Battle we go. We are not big enough. Bruh, what do you have in grave? You have Sulfador, which requires a Crystron card on field to even activate to get popped. Off the top of the deck, a Crossout Designate. We are out of here. Now, I am excited to be progressing the No Banlist tournament, potentially even by tomorrow, where our next step could be is to take the limited to 1 cards and make them semi-limited. Another branded deck. What the heck? Gimmick Puppet in the no balance event. Ash. Negate the branded fusion mate. Let's see this real quick. Let me pop out /chat, I think it shows here. All right, great. Said pass. Now, what we could do, wait, we didn't set a duplication from the deck with the thrust? We set a branded fusion? What's going on here? We're supposed to set, I guess we don't play duplication? We have Titan Clad during the end phase, summoning a Quem from the deck, send an Albaz from the deck to the grave. The expulsion could has to tribute a fusion monster to even activate its effect. Painful choice. We're going to reveal 5 cards to the opponent. They're choosing the Rogue Doll to add back to the opponent's hand. Now, we're going to activate the Terror Baby. Terror Baby ensures that your opponent cannot respond to the activation of your Gimmick Puppet activations. Thus, we can't chain Droplet to them activating. What do we do? Now, the Machine X, if it is activating in the open game state, that will allow us to activate the Droplet before it even activates. We're going to be detaching off of the Machine X, summoning our Cattle Scream from Engrave. We're now going to be activating the Abyss Doll. You have to understand the lingering effects we have here is the Terror Baby is ensuring that you cannot chain to their activations, and the Abyss Doll is ensuring that you can now not target the Gimmick Puppet monsters with card effects. Droplet is a non-target negate. We're going to further turn 2 bodies into the Gimmick Puppet of Strings. The Chaos Force will be triggering here, adding itself from Engrave back to our hand. We're now going to activate the Machine X Chaos, which will reborn a body from the opponent's graveyard to then pop it, burning for 1250, triggering the Serenir, send from the deck the opening here. We're now going to use Forbidden Droplet to full field negate. Knowing that we can't wait for them to activate, we have to negate preemptively. We're going to detach, even though we are negated. That is fine. We're going to follow up with the rank up Chaos Force into the Giant Hunter. Giant Hunter could detach, target any monster on the field, then pop it and burn per its attack. That's going to trigger the effect of the Machine X to reborn from Engrave. Let's get to it. We're scooping it. Wow. Target a monster opponent's graveyard, special summon to your opponent's field and defense. And you could also detach 1 material, target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and inflict damage equal to its original attack. Mermail with Pot of Greed? What? Okay. Fiendsmith Engraver searching for the track. Let's activate the Maxi. Ash Blossom, negate that. Not today. We don't think so. And we're going to activate a Droll. Within the Droll window of only when Droll could be activatable, that's when we started tossing in our other cards like Maxi to ensure now that the tract is not even activatable. Send from the deck a Miller. This is the way we're sending the Kelbeck. Mill 5 cards from both players' decks. This is going to be a cascade of a ton of fusions, possibly. I would think so. It wasn't. We milled a Graceful Charity. We milled a Kashtira Fenrir. A Band Terraforming, we milled. We milled a Lurie and an Ash Blossom. Oh my, we could try it again. You think Beatrice is mill 5? Beatrice is mill 10. Just because it failed on our turn does not mean it failed. We're gonna do it again. Agido mill in the draw phase. But now they have Ash Blossom off the top of the deck to negate the mill, or we could negate the Beatrice itself. Agido, activate, mill 5, Ash Blossom, negate. We have tier limit completely stopped by Ash Blossom and Droll and Lockbird. What the heck? We had 28 cards left in our deck. We're now going to max C on the resolution. Start this off with Pot of Greed. Draw 2. Abyss Pike is here. Discard the Prince, searching for the Abyss Shrine, as we're now going to trigger the Prince to reborn the Poseidra on summon. We're going to be bouncing a card on the field back to the hand by triggering a Dragoons being sent from the deck to the grave. We are under max C, so how much do we want to be special summoning unless we're sure that we have game? We're going to summon the Deep Sea King. With the Deep Sea King on the field, it can summon any amount of fish monsters from the deck. We're going to do that right now. Discard, summon from the deck. one Fishborg Blaster plus an Abyss Spike as we are continuing to endlessly summon under the effect of Max C. We have a banned field spell, banned Totally Awesome, banned Merly, banned Crystron Hulk. It's all banned, banned. As the Crystron Hulk summons from the deck an Ash Blossom from the deck. We have Abyss Trite on summon, reborn a monster from the grave. We are not drawing any hand traps here. Come forward, Dragoons. When is enough? We're now going into the Poseidra, which will non-target, bounce the field back to the hand, as we now could go for game with 8,500 damage on the field, furthering it to over 10,000 damage with no hand traps in sight. This is it. Lethal damage with the Crystron Hulk. Pot of Greed into Crystron Hulk into Totally Awesome. I have a feeling these cards are not going to get unbanned. Let's go. We have tier versus tier here. We can negate a special summon, we can banish a monster, we can negate a monster, we can negate anything with crime, we can banish from their graveyard, we can banish a monster from the extra deck, we can Havness potentially trigger a fusion summon, we have Fairy Tale Snow in graveyard, which could flip a monster on the field face down, we have at least potentially 8 disruptions, and if I really wanted to count Fairy Tale Snow being sent to the grave through Baldrake or another effect to then resummon again, it possibly is up to 9 disruption. Lacrima on summon is going to be sending from the deck to the grave a Fiendsmith as we chain the Havness. We have Max C, but we do have Crime. Crime can negate, which we did not mate. Wow. Oh, wait, Crime is only spell and trap card. Clarification. Wait, it is monster effect. It's everything. Why didn't we negate that? I feel like we should have, possibly, because we may be special summoning a bunch, right? The Rukal Reborns, the Havness summons. We're going to be adding a Grass-looking greener. Well, I guess it's a good idea that we held onto the Crime to negate that grass, milling over 20 cards to equalize our deck size to theirs. We're going to be activating our own Maxi Ash. Now, do we use the Crime to negate the Ash? No. We are holding on to the Crime, being able to negate anything. Sure. What do we use Crime on? Engraver, Reborn from Engrave. As we have Caldo in graveyard, bounce away the Engraver back. That's going to be a big deal in today's event. The Caldo bouncing back into the deck, the Engraver spinning back, the Tearlaments. We're going to Grass-looking greener, not today, negate. Now we still have triple Tactics talent. We also have Droplet. We're going to possibly be drawing 2 off of this, right? Because we don't really have great play. We're taking control. In fact, maybe we're going to go into a sequence, yes? Now, there is a scoop, and they have Imperm for it. They have Baldrake further for banishing. Little Night Chain banish. They do have Fairy Tale Snow to reborn and flip a monster face down. What went wrong? Let's start this off with an Analyzer. Analyzer is going to be attempting to summon off the top of the deck, and Maxi is going to be drawing per summon. We need a Rock non-tuner. And off of those revealed cards, we have the Xeno Qatar. As we further go into a Dweller Pass potentially, with our no, Snacks is not passing. We're going to be searching for a Keldo. We're going to further use the Vernusylph from our hand to dump from the deck a Mudora, not continuing to special summon. We can completely turn off their graveyard, and we could shuffle cards back from either player's grave. The problem with Dweller is, I'm not tier, bro. What are you thinking? I'm Kash tier. I don't care about Dweller. Let's activate the Dweller right away. Chain the Maxi as Kid Art has a graceful Charity. Draw 3, then discard 2 cards. Let's, of course, start off with that. With everyone starting off with Graceful Charity and Pot of Greed, you're going to need Droll and Lockbird to further stop them from adding after they start their turn with those cards. And also everyone having Fool Loss and Maxi to keep the banned decks at bay. We have the Ogre searching for the preparations. Come forth, Kashtira Riseheart. Snacks, you gotta be playing Nibiru in this deck. There's no way you are not. Off the top of the deck, we have Painful Choice randomly getting banished here. Fenrir searching for Scareclaw Kashtira. And to battle we go. Let's banish away the Dweller. And just like that, let's hop into another duel. Now, unfortunately for Floo, we are going second here. We do have Fool Loss to help keep their deck in check. The instant fusion is banned, so we're going to be able to summon a Kick Cow if we want to, as we Rhino Heart Chain Link block into a Mill 3. With that random Mill 3, we can now with precision send exactly what we want from the deck to the grave. Let's trigger the Hovness and Chain Link block it with Sulliek in case someone is maybe playing a Ghost Spell to negate. And the tier Kash from the deck to our hand. Let's further fuse it up into our Kick Cow. And under the effect of Max C, you could just search for Sulliek and pass. Now, unfortunately, Sulliek is still limited to 1. What the heck? As we're going to summon a Merly to then send the Kick Cow, we're going to be milling an additional 8 cards. 1, 2, 3. 5 cards off the top of the deck. We have the Sharon triggering and the tier Kash additionally summoning, all under the effect of Fool Us, but summoning from the hand is completely okay, from the extra deck is not. Let's return back as we now summon a Rukalos, which I don't think Rentos knows does nothing. It negates a special summon against a deck that does not special summon. And this is where we, for the first time, find out what we are playing against, as we are now entering a state of complete dread, knowing our Rukalos is completely dead. So is our Max C completely dead. Do we have anything in graveyard? We have Fairy Tail Snow to flip a monster on the field face down. Beyond the Fairy Tail Snow, what do we even have? We could trigger Scream to maybe trigger another fusion into a Kaleido Heart to bounce a card back. There's a Call by the Grave, though. Now, Snow could dodge the Call by the Grave. We have Scream triggering on the summon of Rabina Ash Blossom. Negate the Scream. We do not want any random mills here into a Kaleido Heart. But we still at least have that Fairy Tail Snow. When exact... Oh my Jesus, the Barrier Statue is here. On the resolution of the Eglin, we could summon the Barrier Statue or the Empen. Empen would be the more prevalent way to do so because you want something that's actually good on the field first before summoning the Empen. And we are now going to use the Dreaming Town to non-target flip the entire opposing field face down, as the Eglin also adds back to the hand. Barrier Statue banned for this very reason. Full field flip, as we're now going to be adding the Floowandereeze Advent. And just like that, neither player can special summon except Wind monsters. To battle we go. Reduce the opposing monster. Rukalos is not reborn unless it was sent to the grave by card effect. Now, if I read the Empen, it states that during damage calculation, only if this card battles do you get to reduce the opponent's monster. Thus, the Barrier Statue is not protected. Simply just attack over it, right? We're going to Call by the Grave, finger the Fairy Tail Snow before the Barrier Statue dies. And to battle we go, say goodbye to the Barrier Statue, but we do not have an out to the Empen, which prevents the opponent from activating special summon monsters only while in attack position. Thus, we summon in defense. Instant Fusion, Kick Cow in D. We're going to mill 3 and additionally mill 5, as we're also searching or sending a tier limit card. Milling Pot Agreed. Milling Painful Choice. Droll and Lockbird on the ad of the tier limit Rhino. We now have a Dark. Dark could summon a dark monster from the opposing player's graveyard. There is no dark in sight, as we now have Kick Cow milling 5 cards. We are playing DD Crow in today's no banless event. Heartbeat, when sent to the grave, will be triggering to add back our 1 of Sulliek. Now, Sharon is going to be further fusing a triple body fusion into our Kaleido Heart play, into defense to ensure that we can activate its effect, as we further go into a Time Thief Redoer. This could detach the Rhino by card effect if we'd like to then trigger its effect to send a tier from the hand, which we don't have. We have Sulliek plus the Kaleido Heart, which will be able to negate a monster on the field and then reborn it and be able to further bounce another card in the field back into the deck. We're going to chain Tier Limit Scream, as we now add a Sulliek to the chain. I think what we need to do is we need to make a Dragostapelia. With this negate, we are going to be triggering a fusion play, and I'm going to check if we play Dragostapelia, which we do. Dragostapelia is going to be the best play here. Come forth Kaleido Heart, which will be spinning the Eglin back in the deck, triggering the Sharon fusion to now go into that Dragostapelia play, as the Rukalos is no good against Floowandereeze. And this should be the end for Floowandereeze. Use it up into exactly what I said. Dragostapelia ready to negate another summon if you had an additional summon. Scooping it up despite being able to get out the Barrier Statue. Let's hop into another duel. We're going to be adding a Lurie, discard the Fiendsmith Kiri. Lacrima Crimson Tear, send from the deck here the Engraver. What is... Oh my Jesus! Did we just Fiendsmith into True King of all calamities? Yes, we did! No way! Level 9 Desiree, level 9 Rextremde. What the? Detach a material, declare an attribute. This turn, all face-up monsters of the field become that attribute. All monsters in your opponent's possession with that attribute cannot activate their effects nor declare an attack. What? Getting Rextremde into the graveyard, Rextremde is going to trigger, add back the Kiri to our hand here. Now, what other plays do we have in addition to this? You think we just have True King of all calamities? You are so wrong. We have the Lacrima Engrave, which could reborn the Agnumde, which could reborn the Desiree attached to the True King to give us an Omni Negate in addition to the Floodgate Mate. We declare dark, right? Light. Wait, okay, Engraver cannot be activated, but the Sharon can. The Engraver cannot activate Engrave. All the dark monsters are activating as long as they are not on the field. Kick Count cannot activate. It's now a light monster. It also cannot declare an attack. We're going to set the Super Polymerization. Agnumde is going to be reborn back in the field, as I said, and we're going to be reborning our Desiree, giving us our Omni Negate. But again, Super Polymerization, that is not going to work. After we have True King of all calamity, we're going to activate the Fiendsmith Kiri to use its Engrave effect to fuse with our monster on the field plus the back row into our Fiendsmith Lacrima. We're going to burn for 1,200 damage every single turn. We have Desiree triggering to return back the Agnumde, forcing out the early activation of that Super Polymerization, discard the Trib of Karma to fuse up with the field. Now, by fusing with the Kit Count, that will trigger a mill 5, thus potentially giving us more forms of disruption off of this random mill. Are you ready? Let's get gambling. Mill 5. First, we're going to chain the Requiem to summon from the deck before the Mill 5 is revealed. We're also going to Mood Dragon declare Wind. And we're also going to chain Triv of Karma to further thin out our deck before the Mill 5 play. We're also going to Keldo, return the Requiem, Desiree, and Rextremde back into the extra deck. These are properly fusion summoned monsters, thus they now cannot be reborn. Get return in, add a crime, and are you ready? Where's the Mill 5? Hurry up, let's do it. This is it. Mill 5. We milled into a Murley. Murley will be triggering. Scream will be triggering. Murley is going to be fusing it up potentially into a Recalus. No, you're not. I have a Baldrake, mate. Negate and banish, even though it doesn't negate, but it does stop the fusion summon. Now, BBS at 6,800 life points. Can we survive Abdullah's battle phase? As we send an Engraver from the deck to the Grave Engraver, return back the sequence. Mudora says, not today. Let's spin the opposing card back into the deck before it is summoned. 6,100 damage on the field. Now, Lacrima's burn effect has not been used yet this turn, so essentially BBS's life is actually at 5,600. We're going to add Lurie, discard Lurie, trigger the Lurie, reborn further. Go into a Moon of the Closed Heaven. Moon and the Lacrima going into the Fiendsmith sequence that will trigger the Lacrima, burning for that additional 1,200 damage. Now sequence fusing with the graveyard, 2 bodies to go into the Rextremde, further going into an Agnumde. Abdullah has mastered this deck somehow. What is going on? We're going to add back the Kiri, continually recycling the quick effect to fuse while in the graveyard. 1,800 to the face, but we're not done. We've only just begun. We're going to reborn the Rextremde at 4,800 attack, completely unaffected by all other card effects. Lethal damage with True King of all calamities. Wow. If we take a gander at both players' extra decks here, let's look for any banned cards. Nothing banned within ZVM's extra deck. What about Matru? In Matru's extra deck, we also have nothing banned. What? No banless event? What are we playing in our main? I mean, we're at least playing Pot of Greed, I would think. Let's Witchu Temple. Put up our Forbidden right leg plus the Senjin. We're not going to pay life because we're going to summon the Senjin from the back row, revealing the Ankh, hit them with the Max C. Thus, we're now going to have to activate the Ankh early. Come to us, Heart of the Blue Eyes. Let's Ankh it up. Floo lost to ensure we draw 2 on this special summon play. Now, how important is the Impulse? I mean, could we have Impulse the Ankh? I mean, I guess they could grab another one. Not if you drolled them, though, but if you droll them, then you're drolling our own Max C. Come forth the unstoppable Exodia. We're going to veil or negate its effect from setting a trap during the end phase. Now, during the opponent's turn, it does have the effect to negate any spell or trap card that is not the Super Polymerization. We're going to Maxi before the Genroku activates. Genroku will obviously just chain to the Maxi, dodging the draw, come forth and summon from the deck into the Chundra. Chundra, damage step, summon a Fadra. Fadra, damage step, reboard the Genroku. Could someone help tell me how Tenpai is good in today's event? What was unbanned? All the limits and semi-limits are still in effect. Isn't Tenpai exactly the same? I don't get it. It's not better, right? We have Transcendent Dragon. Kaiman is going to be not negated because the Exodia cannot even negate due to the Transcendent turning off everything from being activatable. Let's take out the Exodia. To the face we go. 3,000 damage plus summon the Biden Dragon for game. Let's boost to 6,000 attack. Finish him. All right, let's hop another one. Let's go again. Again. Why is Hulk not dominating today's event? And someone's gonna be like, see, I told you, you could unban Hulk, Konami, it's fine. Ash, negate the Senjin mate. Let's follow up with the track, let's speed this up. Off the top of the deck, we have Chaos Max Dragon. I have a feeling we're not going to be able to do much here. Drill Beam. Banish away the Apollo USA. Not today. The triple monster negate is now gone. As the Flamebirds reborn to the back row are Masquerena, ready to link up during the opponent's turn. I don't even know what the Priestess does. She obviously does nothing. Good attempt, Blue Eyes. Let's keep on going. Kid Art is playing. Reinforce the Army, Kash Tira, Theosis. This is Kash Tira is the best performing no banless deck right now because they're just countering Tier Limit. An anti-graveyard deck, as everything unbanned makes graveyard decks broken. We're going to be reborning back our Unicorn, searching for a Theosis that we already have. Theosis is going to be the Ash choke point, of course. That is when and what you want to negate. Now, how are we going to get our Arise Heart onto the field, which would ensure all their cards now get banished? We're going to be banishing away the Kit Cal. Whoa! Unicorn banishing Kit Cal is a first turn kill against Tier Limit. That's it. On to the next one. What the? Pot of Greed. Place my hand on top of the deck. Draw not one, but two cards off the top of the deck. Let's now Analyzer off the top of the deck. 5 cards. Summon a Rock Non-Tuner into a Nyarla. Nyarla is going to go into an Azathoth. Azathoth, I don't really know what it does. What did it just do? Azathoth states that if this card has at least 3 materials, you could detach 1 material from this card, destroy all cards your opponent controls. We're not using that effect. This also says, after this card was Exceed Summon, your opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of that turn. They cannot activate monster effects. It just turns off hand traps. What the? Okay, so we have a fully uninterrupted turn 1 play as they now cannot activate their Bestials. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn after this card was Exceed Summoned. That is why this card is banned. There you go. Let's come forth and someone going into the Granite. Full play, wombo combo. This is the way. He's just going to scoop it up. Because of a time limit, people are trying to, if they know they're going to lose, they're just getting the hell out. We went with the Azathoth. Oh, I want to see what the deck does. The deck summons Azathoth, then they scoop. That's all you need to know. Let's go. Tier Limit Sharon is here. We're going to send a Kel back as we attempt to mill 5 cards off of both players' decks. We did have the opportunity to use Ash Blossom. We said, nah, you want to mill off of my deck? Be my guest. As we're now going to Ash Blossom negate a Scream instead of negating a Kelbeck mill 5. That is wild. Boda, you're out of your mind. Time Thief Redoer is now here to use the effect of a Bestial. But we can't. You cannot Bestial banish to stop the Tier Limit Fusion because there's nothing on the field. As we now make a Kit Cal, Kit Cal is going to be adding a Sulliek from the deck, which would have been added through the Scream. Come back to us, Redoer. Fill to the brim with Bestials. We are ready to hard counter Tier Limit. Redoer is going to be drawing a card randomly into the Sharon. We have quickly launching a Rocket Tracer onto the field. We do have Sellic to not only negate a monster, but also trigger the effect of Kick Out to mill 5 cards. To battle we go. We're going to Sellic, trigger that mill 5 play. The Rocket Tracer is, ooh, we had to be ready for this. And how could we have been more ready for this besides using Droplet in response to this? Why would we use Droplet? Well, if we read the Sellic, it states that the dual log is not working. Good job, Konami. If you control a tier limit, you target an effect monster, you negate its effects, then send a monster you control to the graveyard. We care more about sending a monster than negating, and because it says then, you have to negate. And we can't negate the Tracer if it pops itself off the field, thus we have to use Droplet to keep it on the field, but if we use Droplet, then it's already negated. If we negate it with Droplet, we're not negating it with Sellic, thus we don't send a monster. This is an absolute mess. No mill 5. There you go. Sellic is no good. Kick Cow does not mill. Drillstorm's now going to banish the Kick Cow. So Ash it? Yeah, Ash it was the... You're right. Ash was the way. Why didn't we Ash? Let's go in directly to the face now. Back. We're going to hold the Ash for something else, I guess. What else are we ashing? We're now going to Serenir, send for the deck here, Lubellion. Let's get rid of the Absorata, reborning the Bestial Lubellion. Lubellion's going to set up a Branded Regained. We're going to negate the Absorata from searching for a Rocket monster. Not today. You still have the available normal summon at least. Negate. Lubellion into Regained. Let's further go into a Masquerena. Now, we have Dissipator, reborning back a banished monster. Droplet is going to send Sharon by cost, not card effect, thus she does not trigger as we negate the Dissipator. Now, what can Mugiwara even top deck into? We have negate a monster, negate an interaction with the deck, link off into Little Knight, banish. We have Lurie. Okay, Regained is going to summon our Druiswarm as the Lurie goes into a Requiem. Ash Blossom, negate the Lurie effect of Requiem, summon for the deck, not today. Thus, Boda with the overabundance of Bestials to help counter tier limit. Wait, we're not done. I still have Engraver and your Bestial cannot be used. Well, the Dissipator can still negate the Engraver despite you having no monster on the field. Returning back your own banished Kick Cow to negate. End phase we go. Let's clean up this duel. Nicely done. Thank you. Let's go. Pot of Greed. What did I say? You have to play Droll to hit them after Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed is actually a bad card because of Droll, straight up. Yup, quote me on Reddit forever, Twitter, and all that good stuff. Now had to end his turn. Couldn't use the Nightmare Throne because Pot of Greed screwed him. Hold up, Abe, you are supposed to cross out Designate Pot of Greed, huh? Okay, let's add a Snake Eye Ash from the deck. Ash is here. Imperm, negate. Not today. As the Poplar is stuck in our hand, we have Triple Tactics Talent, also not activatable. What is going on? This seems crap. No banless deck, and we're just passing. Okay, back to you. Off the top of the deck, now we could finally use our Nightmare Throne. We could first set up a Phantom of Yubel. Nightmare Throne searching for the Beckoning Beast. We're going to activate Max C, and he's like, sure, I'm just going to pass my turn. We have our Monster Negate. Ash off the top of the deck. We have Poplar on Summon, which will be turned off by the Phantom of Yubel. Thus, we could follow up with our Triple Tactics Talent. Pop a Spirit of Yubel. Ash negate the Spirit of Yubel from summoning a Yubel from the deck. We're going to cross out Designate. Negate the Ash Blossom. Not today. Negate. Now, with the Triple Tactics Talent, are we trying to go into Fiendsmith plays? What are we doing here? We do have Fiendsmith plays. As we Triple Tactics Talent, go for the draw 2. That is the way. We have Millennium in a no banless torrent. That's how good the Millennium cards are. Absolutely insane. We have Maxi in response to the Golem. Now, we got to take the Maxi challenge. This is it. Do not be a wussy. Wedju Temple is set up. We are now with Nibiru and Senjin in the back row. Come forth and summon. Searching for another Senjin. Not drawing any relevant hand traps so far. Come forward, Doom Dragon, which will be pushing the Yubel into the back row, opening up the field for lethal damage, over 8,000 damage with no hand trap in sight. Just like that, lethal damage. Thinking about the Millennium Engine as a great way to push through a Max C, lethal for game under Fool Loss or Max C. Even more so Fool Loss because it's summoning from the back row, which they're not going to be drawing cards off of those summons. Oh my Jesus. We have Rhinoheart on summon, sent for the deck of Hovness. Hovness is triggering a fuse away into our Kick Cow. With our Forms of Disruption here, we have the ability to completely turn off the graveyard, negate a special summon, negate a monster, finger a monster in grave, negate a monster, and also trigger a fusion with the Beatrice, at least 6 disruptions, as I don't see anything else relevant within the graveyard. No shufflers, nothing. We have Forbidden Droplet to negate the Dweller. Here's a problem, though. If you preempt the Droplet and you don't send a trap, they could flip up a trap in response to the Droplet, then chain the Dweller to the trap, thus not to your Droplet, and your graveyard's now turned off. Which is exactly what we're doing. Negate the grave. So you may be thinking there's nothing we could do. You have to wait for Dweller to activate. Unfortunately, that would be the way. Only after it activates, you could then chain the Droplet. And of course, you also don't want to have a monster in the field because then the Sully could send the Dweller to dodge the Droplet. Rukal is negated. Dweller has still gone through. We have the Rhinoheart triggering, Sharon triggering, Scream triggering. We're going to search for a trap, Reborn Rhino, and trigger our Fusion Summon play. Fuse with the Rukal into a Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart is on summon going to be able to spin a card in the field back in the deck, but because there's nothing there, we instead wait for the Sulliek. Sulliek will send the Kaleido to negate a monster, and then it will reborn, further spinning another card in the field back. We have Rukal back in the field, which we'd never used her effect, thus it is not negated. We're going to call for the grave, finger the in-grave Lunalight Emerald Bird. Not today, as we attempt to Light Perfume, reborn it back in the field. Let's Chick, send whatever Lunalight we want to the graveyard. We're going to imperm negate the Chick. Now, what are we negating? We are negating that the name of this face-up card is treated as the same sent monster's name if used as fusion material. That's not a, no, don't do that. It's okay. This is like negating a Benny, right? Cherubini negate. Lunalight Tiger is going to be activating to target and reborn. We have Rukal to negate the activation of the Tiger. Not today. Negate and destroy. And from here, we're screwed, right? The Tiger is still going to be triggering when destroyed. If this card is destroyed, target the monster and reborn it. As we go into a Raider's Night, do we have nothing left for this? Well, I mean, we have Sulliek. Sulliek and Kaleido. We're still in a great spot. Raider Knight activates, Sulliek, negate, and not only negate, it's going to trigger the Kaleido to then spin it back in the extra. If we have a fusion effect still left over, we could also possibly make a Dragostapelia for another form of disrupt as we send the Rhino. Kaleido, say goodbye, and just like that,